Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. Right now my face is like super tight, so I want to hurry up and get to the sheet mask portion of this. But before I can get into that, I just want to first apologize to you all for the lack of video that there was last week. Very long story short, an old friend of mine was in town. Haven't seen him in like several years. So I got distracted by that and ended up being like, oh my gosh, I never recorded a video for Sunday. So I kind of just didn't post one. But I'm here now. Schedule is kind of back in order. Things are gonna go back to what they used to be, every Sunday uploads. Get used to that. Yeah, so that's my little spiel as to why I didn't have an episode last week for you guys. But now that I've apologized and I've forgiven myself, I'm gonna go ahead and move on. Totally kidding. I really do apologize about that for those of you that were finally getting into the motion of me uploading every Sunday and like getting kind of used to that. I do greatly apologize to you all. Fingers crossed I never do that again, because that was very dumb on my end. But anyways, before I start today's essentially list of complaining about things that ultimately have solutions, I just refuse to accept them. Go ahead and press that subscribe button down below and hit the thumbs up button, as well as just leave a random comment. They're very good for the YouTube algorithm. I don't understand this stuff, but it is what it is. So let's go ahead and start the complaints. So today's face mask of choice is gonna be this Neutrogena, if we can focus, this Neutrogena Hydro Boost Hyaluronic Acid face mask. For those of you that are OG subscribers to my channel, I actually did a full dedicated review video on this mask before, one of my earlier videos. So if you want to know more about the mask and a more kind of like in-depth look back when I reviewed it, it's somewhere in my channel, to be honest. It's there, it's just one of the earlier videos. So you don't have too much to shuffle through, but you can just shuffle through those. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take this out of the packing and just apply it. Okay, that was annoying. I had to get scissors to cut it open. It wasn't opening for me for whatever. Alright, so now that I have this mask on and I've twisted it and turned it and like morphed it to try to fit my very long face, let me go ahead and set a 15-minute timer, just so I also know how long I need to keep this video to be. Just so that I know to also make sure I get straight to the point and don't take forever to linger on with my point. So now let's go ahead and get into topic number one, buying celestial bodies. So there's been recently this thing where, one thing I hate about this mask, it's super, super wet. So one thing that's recently come up in like pop media, pop culture media and such is there's a rapper who bought a planet, I guess, the other day. And the more I like look into it and think about it, I'm kind of back and forth. I'm just taking the serum out of this bag and applying it to my hands. Back when I was younger, one of my like goals in life was to like own like a star and to like, you know, buy a star, because that's like always a thing that people used to do back in the early 2000s or whenever it started. I don't know, I'm just naming years, but there's like a way to like buy a star, and I used to want one of those. That was like a big life goal of mine, was to have a star named after me and like yada yada yada, things like that. I was very young, dumb, foolish, and yeah. But anyways, the more I think about it, the more like absurd and like weird it sounds. So like, one, who am I on earth to then claim ownership of something that's like super, super far away that I'll probably never ever end up seeing a day in my lifetime? Like, who am I to sit here and say like I own that? Like, especially with money bought on Earth, or not bought, but money from Earth used to buy other planets. We've only explored an impossibly small amount of space and like other planets and stuff. Who's to say there aren't people now on that planet? Granted, I'm sure in like retrospect, like, yeah, those people on the planet don't know you just bought that planet, but it's like, what level of, I don't know, self-indulgence, what level of just something did we reach to where we think we can own a celestial body? That doesn't really make sense. It doesn't like, okay, so like now what do you do with that? Like, what do you do with that? Like, is it just a bragging right? Is it just something that people get because they can? Like, I don't know, maybe that's something that will just never make sense to me. Again, that's why it's on the list of things I'll never understand and probably never will. Number two is that company. So I don't want to say their name for like possible legal reasons or just for the sake of like keeping things, you know, I don't want to get sued for a lot of money because of my technically opinion, but come on now. But this brand is, or this company, or whatever you want to call them, this name, it's a last name repeated. And I don't understand how it's like every product they come out with, granted I'm using a product that's essentially theirs, so it's kind of me being a hypocrite, but this one's never been recalled. But they have a lot of products that recall for like cancer and other bad stuff, and then for whatever reason they were trusted with manufacturing a C-word vaccine. Now I don't like to really get into like the nitty-gritty of that. I'm vaccinated. I've been very pro-vaccine, immunization, whatever you want to call it, ever since I was a little kid. The people that, like, it's so crazy that, like, this company with their mountain of lawsuits on their belt, under their belt, or whatever you want to say, they were then trusted to make a vaccine for this global panoramic that we're in, and it's very, very odd. Like, how is it that these people keep getting away with it? Like, why has this company not essentially been shut down? Rich people get away with literally everything, and it's disgusting. Next topic is separate insurances. So I'm one of those people that, you know, I pay my own health insurance and, like, you know, my insurances and stuff out of my own like pocket. And it's always been kind of weird to me that health insurance and dental are technically two different insurances, which is so weird to me because it's like if you have a bad enough dental issue, it's gonna eventually turn into a health issue. So how is it that dental insurance and health insurance are two different things? Because I pay two very different amounts for the both. I just don't see why you couldn't get it bundled, or like who even sat there and thought like, oh, dental isn't considered health insurance. Like, what do you mean? And then vision as well? Like, is the condition of my eye not considered a health thing? Like, I don't understand who normalized this and who thought like this was something we should go forward with. This is something that just makes sense. Like it's terribly frustrating. Sorry, I keep adjusting this mask because as I talk it slips down. It's super weird that it's been normalized to separate insurances and to separate that. Like, I know plenty of people who have gotten like really bad like mouth problems or like, you know, dental related issues, and it ended up becoming now a severe health issue. So it's like, why is it like, let's just say this person can only afford the dental insurance, why is now that it's a health issue now they're like out of luck? It's like, no. First of all, insurance is its own thing that I've spoke about before, how it doesn't make sense, but it infuriates me to know that these two things that are very similar and like in so many ways are considered two separate things that you have to pay separately for, when they could ultimately just be the same thing at a much cheaper rate. Just like that's a nice thing they could do, you know? And so the final thing that was on my list here on my handy dandy phone is job applications. So I don't understand them. Like, I understand the point of a job application is so like companies can hear who wants to work there and like who needs a job, yada yada yada. But what I'm not understanding, and what I probably should have specified or just said, is job assessments. So like in a lot of jobs with the application process, you then, you know, you have to apply, tell them your name, your work history, submit a resume, pretty much copy everything that was on your resume and just say it again like 4 times. And then some jobs, they're always like, oh, part of our application process is you take this assessment. And the assessment is like, oh, the estimated time is 45 minutes. Granted, it's like, in one aspect, it's like, yeah, if you really want the job, you'll set aside an hour to do it and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, some people don't have that hour, you know? Every second to some people is very important. And then to have people do this entire job assessment without guaranteeing that they're going to get an interview even is just insane, because it's like, now I've essentially wasted an hour on you that I could have spent doing something else, and now I'm out of luck in both situations. So I just feel like something that doesn't make sense to me is how that's normalized. How that's just considered like a normal thing to do, is take this super long job assessment to even see if you can qualify for an interview. Like, that's super odd. It's just a waste of time, and I hate it. I think it's dumb. Yeah, I think it's the dumbest thing. It like actually pisses me off thinking about how much time gets spent just applying to a job and how stressful and like aggravating it is to even just put your foot in the door with some of these companies. And it's just so, it's very frequent, and it's done so often to where it's essentially extremely normalized, and we see that no one's really benefiting. Like, what's really a job assessment, especially like the multiple choice ones, all they're telling me, if I was running them, is that you have time to waste, that you will sit there and do X, Y, and Z and just do a whole lot. And then it also is just kind of like, with it being multiple choice for most of them, you can just lie. So it's like, why would they care? Why does there seem to be an issue? Like, why is it even a thing if you could literally just lie on these job assessments? Makes zero sense to me. So that's all I have for you guys today. My timer hasn't gone off, which means timer hasn't gone off, but I'm taking this off prematurely because it just slipped off, so I'm gonna take that as a sign. Like I was saying, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the video with that last statement. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. And yeah, yet again, I'm here doing an outro that I have no idea how to do properly, and it's gonna probably always be like that for me with outros. But thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I'll catch you all next time. Peace.